Hey guys, what's up? It is Horror Wednesday, which means it is review time, right? So, tonight we are going to be reviewing three movies, two of which are currently streaming and are relatively new, one of which is an old one from 1974, but we'll get to that in a minute. This movie is called Polaroid. I believe it's streaming on Netflix. I watched this because it kept showing up on a lot of horror threads, and everybody was like, "Oh man, it was so scary." No. Pretty much your standard basic cursed object movie. So this girl who works in a camera shop. Was it a camera shop? Dude gets a camera for this girl at a yard sale, and it turns out that it's cursed. The photos that she takes, obviously it's a Polaroid camera. Um, Obviously, the photos that she takes, the person in said photo winds up, dying or whatever. This movie for me really wasn't anything special. Wasn't any kind of new, interesting thing. The monster involved in the whole process, kind of weak. Wasn't really a lot of anything. Um, if you guys are into cursed movies or cursed object movies, whoopsie, uh, check this one out. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting some time. Um, I don't want to give away the ending because it's fucking boring. Yeah, there was a lot of hype about this on all of the horror threads and stuff like that. It just didn't, like, there weren't even really any, there was no notable anything. Oh, scary. Oh, death. Oh boy. Oh man. Honest to God, storyline of it's fucking stupid. Now we're on to The Pilgrim, which is also another movie that came out, I believe, last year, and it's streaming on Hulu right now. It's called The Pilgrim. This movie was one of the worst home invasion movies I think I've ever seen in my life. Basically, this... And don't get me wrong, Blumhouse really produces some quality films. One of which is mentioned here. So basically, this white suburban lady and her family are all involved in this like HOA kind of thing, and they end up signing up online with someone. Will you leave me alone? You have a bunch of historical reenactors come and pretend to be pilgrims the whole time, and I'm sure if you can imagine the ridiculousness kind of perpetuates on itself. Like, nobody breaks character ever. The pilgrims are out of their mind, and they end up not leaving and kind of killing a bunch of people. This was okay. It wasn't really like didn't really do it for me. I mean, if you're into home invasion and kind of weird, I mean, the end had a kind of a nice payoff, but other than that, it really wasn't worth a shit. Our 1974 entry for this week, it's called Phase 4. And this movie was... it's really weird. So, ants. Who's afraid of ants? Like little tiny ants, like little ones. Soundtrack to this movie was pretty weird, I guess. well, let's get into the trailer a little bit here. Was on the list of movies that I haven't seen about killer bugs. So basically, this space thing happens and makes all of these ants super smart for whatever reason, but nobody noticed because no one gives a shit about ants. They don't grow big, and they don't. Well, they don't grow big. I don't know. It was very weird. And then the scientists try and start communicating with them, which was also very weird. There's a shitload of stock footage in this movie, by the way. The girl was cute in it. Other than that, it put my wife to sleep. So these scientists are holed up in this research facility or whatever, and that stops the ants in their tracks immediately. But now they're under siege, and now it's just this perpetual war between the scientists that are holed up in this desert outpost or some shit. I don't know. And the ants are building structures that are reflective, so they start baking the scientists inside of this dome. And then like one dude gets bit really bad. There's I don't know. There's not much to this movie. It's just about these ants that are, like really smart. Like in the whole ending of the movie, let me just say this, guys. This movie was a 70s movie about a killer insect. Okay? There was music, and there was stock footage of ants. I mean, that was about it. Without giving away the ending. If you're into weird 70s-ish in between Hammer films and slasher films from the 80s, there was no real kind of early 70s, I'm sorry. In between, there was no real definitive era between the late 60s and late 70s. So if you guys are bored, check this out. It's about ants, and they like to kill people. Primarily those who don't like ants, I guess. I don't know. Next week, we are going to do Killer Sofa, Villains, and something else that I haven't figured out yet. Or I haven't watched. Maybe I'll watch that tonight. If you guys have any requests or comments or questions or anything, please go ahead and shoot me a line down below and ask away, or tell me that I suck. Or next month, we are going to start doing family reviews. I think I'm going to start with my wife, and then we're going to go with my daughter. Come on. Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you. And then I'm going to go with my son, and then I'm going to go with mine. And we're all going to do our top 5, or at least influential 5, or some kind of number 5 of our favorites, one way or the other. So, that being said, I am out for tonight. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell everyone I'm an asshole and I'm totally wrong. Tell them to just watch me anyways. Also, do not forget about Retro Access Deluxe. I will be producing another video for Retro Access Deluxe tomorrow night. Should be dropping. Don't want to give anything away, but I can tell you that there is definitely a tie-in to my childhood with this NES classic game. So, that being said, right. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week for a horror movie review time. Maybe I'll see you sooner, depending on what kind of fun things I get to do at work. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the future.